Welcome to another Bible contemplation from the first letter of Peter. As I record, just looking out there, it's beginning to rain. The seasons are changing. We've had very mild, dry weather for a long time, and the rain heralds cooler weather. So just feel that autumn is on the way. Let's just take a moment to settle ourselves, get in touch with our breathing, and just breathe into the presence of God who is within us. And the prayer. Jesus, may all that is in you bubble up inside me. May your body and blood be my food and drink. May your passion and death be my strength and life. Jesus, with you by my side, enough has been given. May the shelter I seek be the shadow of your cross. Let me not run from the love which you offer, but hold me safe from the forces of evil. On each of my dyings, shed your light and your love. Keep calling me until that day comes, when with your saints I may praise you forever. Amen. Now on to the second chapter of 1 Peter, writing to Christians who are being persecuted. Therefore, rid yourselves of all malice and deceit, hypocrisy, evil, and slander of every kind. Like newborn babies, crave pure spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up in your salvation, now that you have tasted that the Lord is good. And this introduces quite a deep, intimate image of feeding from God as if at the mother's breast. I remember a long time ago, probably 15 years ago, a young mum bringing her baby up to the communion rail whilst feeding from the breast. I think she did it in a gently provocative way, but I found it such a wonderful image of what communion with God is all about. Feeding on the pure milk of God's love. But in order to feed, we also need to allow the rubbish to be emptied. And if you're ever caring for babies, you're very aware of that as well. And it happens naturally and plentifully as they feed. So perhaps you can hold on to these images as I read again. Therefore, rid yourselves of all malice and all deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and slander of every kind. Like newborn babies, crave the pure spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up in your salvation, now that you have tasted that the Lord is good. And that's chapter 2, 1-3. My feeling is that we should stick more with the idea of feeding than ridding ourselves. I think that's a natural. If we're feeding, then the sort of ridding ourselves of what is unhelpful just becomes natural. So don't feel, oh, I've got to rid myself. I think that way takes you to a cul-de-sac. It's more as we feed on God, we just sort of, oh yeah, that's the way I ought to be going. That's not the way I ought to be going. And we just naturally let go of what's unhelpful and take hold of that which is nourishing and helps us grow up in our salvation. So, how do we do that? Well, I would suggest you take 2 words, crave milk, and just breathe into those words. Maybe crave on the in-breath and milk on the out-breath, or other way around, whatever feels natural. Or maybe there are other words that you go with. But let's just take a moment just to breathe into those words without seeking revelation, just being there with God. Oh, I'm sure we could spend a lot more time doing that, but it's boring just seeing a bloke breathing. Therefore, rid yourselves of all malice and all deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and slander of every kind. Like newborn babies, crave pure spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up in your salvation, now that you have tasted that the Lord is good. And I would encourage you to perhaps go back to those words again today or tomorrow, whenever it is, and just dwell some more on the powerful intimacy of that image of our feeding on God as a baby feeds at its mother's breast. That is deep and powerful, embodied. I think, so often as Christians we've denied our bodies, felt that it was all about the mind, been deluded into thinking that it's all about the mind. And God needs to take us back to these embodied images, powerful images, which are not sexualized at all. They're just about nurturing life. So dwell on that. And a prayer. Oh God, open the eyes of our hearts to the way that you care for us and the way that you feed us. And as we feed on you, may we naturally let go of all malice and all deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and slander of every kind, so that we may grow up in our salvation, now that we have tasted the goodness of your love. For Jesus' sake. Amen. Probably won't be one next week. I might fit another one in and release it next week. I'll see. Not sure. But see you again.